That's a nice family right here.
Hey, one, two.
That's a great family.
Here we go. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Where you guys from?
Colombia. Colombia?
And you stand with Trump. What do you say to someone that says Trump doesn't like Latinos?
Trump is family. Yes, yes.
De familia.
Yeah,
Trump is la familia.
Yeah, it's protection for USA. Okay?
Well said. God bless you.
I am in so much shock with the amount of Latinos for Trump that are now coming out saying we feel so backstabbed, we feel so betrayed, we feel used now that our families are being deported even though they're not criminals. You didn't feel that way when Donald Trump was talking about the Mexican families that he was going to be deporting. You didn't feel that way when he spoke about other minority groups that he was going to be deporting. But now that it's affecting your family, your uncle, your cousin, now you want to cry about it? Now you want to cry crocodile tears? Girlfriend, I don't feel bad for you.
60% of Latinos in this country voted for Donald Trump. 60% of Latinos in this country voted for Donald Trump. After everything this man and his party has said to degrade and disrespect anyone who's Latino, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and after everything black and indigenous people did to have y'all back when people was calling y'all islands garbage floating on top of water, when they called your people a bunch of grapists south of the border, this is how y'all repay black people. If y'all ever hop in my inbox or tag me in a video about POC unity again, I will curse your entire bloodline. I'll put that on.
Latinos for Trump to the front. It's your time. It's your time to shine, babes. Your president just started a war. This is your time to show him how much you really care. Okay? Make your people proud. Okay, make sure you bring your playlist.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Trump's campaign has always been filled with harsh rhetoric about immigration, about building walls, about cracking down on undocumented people. But before we dive into it, hey beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. So all credit goes to the creators in these videos. Too many Latinos have been brought into the illusion of whiteness. One way or the other, they see themselves as separate, they see themselves as different, they see themselves as immune to the policies that target this same community. And you know that in the US, whiteness has historically been the golden ticket. And many Latinos chase down to that proximity because one way or the other, they have the mental idea that it protects them. They tell themselves when they wake up and look themselves in the mirror, I'm not like them. I'm not the immigrants crossing the border. They tell themselves, I'm not undocumented. I am better than them. I saw the video of that guy and his family saying Trump is la familia. But the irony of the situation is that he himself is not la familia with his fellow Latinos. In other words, those Latinos voted against themselves. They voted against the very person who promised to make their own family's life harder. They voted for that very person. And they were thinking that somehow, maybe that family, for example, was thinking that somehow their US citizenship or their lighter skin or their Americanness in quotes will shield them from all its policies, because those people, they have families. Okay, if they are US citizens, which I believe they are, maybe they have families, they have mothers, they have fathers, they have brothers, they have sisters, they have cousins. So much for being a family, right? And the illusion of them thinking they are white made them vote against their own self-interest. And that illusion is really powerful. But the truth of the matter is just that illusions are illusions. They will always remain illusions. And they do not protect you from reality. Let's see what these other creators have.
So let me get this straight. Your dad is a Latino with 6 months left to live. And now that he's been picked up by ICE on the orders of Trump,
which, get this, you are a Latina and you voted for him. Now your dad's gonna spend the last 6 months of his life either in a cell or deported. And now you come on TikTok talking about unity. We need to have unity. We need to come together as a community. Why your ass ain't come together at the polls? Why you ain't come together at them polls, mama? You said that you didn't educate yourself on the immigration policies. That is literally the main point that he ran his entire campaign on. There's literally no way that you could have missed that. It's literally not possible. And then y'all come on here and y'all want people to have sympathy for y'all. Sympathy for what? You ain't have sympathy for the other immigrants that you wanted to get deported when you cast your vote? You just thought your dad was going to be the exception, huh? I don't know. Shit like that really get me irritated because, like, you didn't have sympathy for all the other people and all the other minorities that were going to be affected if he got into office. But as soon as one of the people who voted for him actually starts getting affected in real life, now I want to come on TikTok talking about we need unity. Fuck y'all. Fuck.
So I'm coming for Latinos for Trump every day, every time. When I can, I'm doing it. Because the Republican budget plan just came out. And where's the no tax on tips? Not there. Where's the no tax on overtime? Not there. No tax on income. Not there either. You know what is there? Tax cut for the rich. Lowest there's ever been. But you bozos who kept screaming that he was going to do so much for the economy, that he was a businessman. He's a scammer. And we tried to tell you that he was not for you. Okay? So that just goes to show you, and I hope you're going to learn so many lessons. And they're going to be difficult ones. And we're not going to hold your hand while you learn them. All right? Te calmas o te calmo, like at 100. So you guys enjoy this. Have fun with that.
My Mexican-American dad was extremely racist and discriminatory against Mexican immigrants. Someone mentioned yesterday that they couldn't believe like the Latino men turnout for Trump and how could they vote against their own interests. And I brought up my dad, who did not vote in this election because the man's been dead for 10 years. But if he was alive, he probably would have voted for Trump. He was extremely discriminatory and racist towards any immigrant, but specifically Mexican immigrants, calling them the worst terminology. The terminology, though, that had been used against him, he so badly wanted to distance himself from immigrants because he was an American. He was born here. And growing up in New Mexico, you know, he was forced into those church-run schools where he got in trouble for speaking Spanish. He was taught to be, you know, monolingual English. He was perfectly fine with me not speaking Spanish because he wanted me I was also an American, right? And so because all of these terms and racism and discrimination was used against him growing up, instead of processing it as like, that's wrong, he processed it as, I'm wrong, so I need to separate myself from Mexican. Like, I need to not be associated with Mexico because I am an American, which meant wanting nothing to do with immigration. If you brought up anything that had to do with Mexican immigrants, he said the most disgusting things about them. And I was always very confused because I was like, they look exactly like you, like me. We have individuals in our family who are like, you know, first generation Americans. And the fact he could say that. So to me, I can't speak for all of the men who voted for Trump, but I know my dad would have voted for Trump and have agreed with those immigration policies because he did not view himself as Mexican. He viewed himself as only American. And it doesn't matter the logic to be like, but when someone sees you from the outside, can they make that distinction? He wanted so badly to be included and to fit in with the ideal American that he was willing to throw his own community under the bus for the validation of the ideal American white man.
Now, Latinos are always or often, right, described as having strong family values. And at this point, it's almost a stereotype because, you know, they have family cookouts. Most of them have deep bonds, you know, that stretch across countries. And yet, when some Latinos voted, okay, when they were given the chance to make a decision for their community, You voted in direct contradiction to those, in quotes, supposed beliefs or supposed values. Now think about it. Every Latino voter is a US citizen because you have to be a citizen to vote. But guess what? Citizenship does not erase the fact that many of them have undocumented parents, cousins, siblings, friends, or whatever. And Trump's campaign was not vague. He said it loud and clear. He would deport millions, end protections like DACA, make life a living hell for undocumented people. And when Latino citizens had the chance to vote, what they did technically said, my family does not matter. Because how can you say you care about family values if you are willing to vote for somebody that says it would tear families apart? Okay? Because at the end of the day, guys, this vote just tells us something important. Sometimes family values are only as strong, right, as the choices that you make to protect them. And for too many Latinos who voted for Trump, this their vote just shows that their values don't match with their actions. Because in quotes, they say something else and they do something else. Because, guys, make it make sense.
I can't believe that the Latinos voted for Trump. I can. I believe it 100%. Girl, y'all have to stop acting like it is just Cubans that are racist and conservative in the Latino community. Coming from a Colombian girl. Look at the politics of Colombia. Yes, I know our president is like more left-leaning this time and very progressive. But, girl, look at the politics and the history. Look at their stances on abortion. I know she's decriminalized. However, that just means that you can't go to jail if you get an abortion, okay? Or if you're a doctor that conducts an abortion. That does not fucking mean that it is socially accepted. Turn on Telemundo. You tell me how many people of color you see on Telemundo. You tell me how many brown and black people you see on that show. Tell me if they're casting. Turn on Caracol. Tell me how many people of color you see on there. Like, I don't want to hear it that we're this progressive community. We're not. So yeah, I 100% believe it. And for all of these freaking people who are Latinos that voted for Trump, I'm gonna hold your hands when I say this. He doesn't like you. He never liked you. And he's never gonna respect you. And if y'all weren't born here, he's gonna try and find a way to get you deported. So, congratulations for looking stupid.
And to Latinos who voted for Trump because you have papers and you're safe and you're okay and you're good, let's not forget that the only reason that you have those papers is because at some point, someone in your bloodline came to this country illegally and got them.
I mean, and that's on period. But many of them seem to have forgotten their roots. And let's be clear, not every Latino voted for Trump, right? Some of them, a few of them, saw through him. They knew these promises were not bluffs. They knew these promises were not jokes, right? But for those Latinos that did support him, guys, the wake-up call has been brutal. At least some of them are honest enough to come and say they regret their votes. And now they know that these promises were not fake, right? Crackdowns really are happening. And these policies did not stop to ask them to say, oh, wait, are you the good Latino or the bad Latino? Either you believe you were special or you were exempted. They swept up families. Now, I think they should have learnt their lesson and they should have known that voting against your self-interest does not make you safe. It does not make you white because you are not white and you will never be white. It doesn't shield your family from being torn apart. And all it does is just strengthen the very forces that are working against you. So the question now is that, Latinos, this new knowledge that you have, this new wisdom that you have, what do you do with it? Do you do the same thing over and over again? Or do you learn? Or do you think when karma comes knocking on your door, it's going to spare you? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I really want to hear from you. If you have found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will definitely see you in my next video. Stay safe. Mental health is important. Ciao.